Got ourselves some Van Dyke brown. We got ourselves some ivory black. We even got some indigo on the palette too. And we're just going to get into this here. Avocado kids, it was a very long night last night, and it was a strange day today. But things seem to have equalized, so I think we got things under control here. I think we actually have some things under control. And I think we are on to something with those powders I was just talking about, avocado kids. That's something I'm really happy about because it just presents a million different options, not just for me, but for other people, even for folks that say they just don't want to get into oils. Now they can do the exact same thing, but well, it won't be exactly the same thing, but close enough, and they'll be able to do it with acrylics. DiMarino, how you doing? Happy Monday, all that sort of stuff. Happy Monday. Well, it's going to be Happy Tuesday soon enough. I mean, we'll still be doing this and it'll be Tuesday, that's for sure. So thanks for everybody that has participated in the community challenge because yet again we have a community challenge and what is it, 58K, right, to live up to the community challenge. You know what? Let's throw a little bit of indigo into this. Let's get a little indigo into this here. Let's do that. Do some indigo into this. Avocado kids, no, it has been a total sleep-free week. Total sleep-free week. Thank you so much, Nessie. We're gonna let those little rocks. Look at this. It's gin on the rocks. See what I did there? Thanks, Avocado Kids, for the boost. I appreciate that. So yeah, there was no sleep last night. Piggybacked onto no sleep the 3-4 nights before that too. So it's you and I and Armored Wolf. We all live the same life. We all live the same life. And thank you. Look, more rocks. More rocks. Geez, we're gonna have to resupply ourselves soon. And thank you so much there, Nessie, for that contribution as always. Etchy Bot. Do we have a Blitzkrieg? Do we have a Blitzkrieg here? I think we got ourselves a Blitzkrieg. Well, when there's a Blitzkrieg, where did you go? When there's a Blitzkrieg, huh? Oh, so Valfera. There we go. So Valfera, what I see here is that I'm gonna have to try and snag these two. Check this out. Look at this. Interference, interference, interference. I think we're gonna try and snag these guys too. We'll try and snag those guys too. See what happens with them. So thank you very much for these. So oh what? Oh, they are different. Okay, that's weird. All the labels were the same. Wait a minute, let me go. And thank you for that. Thank you so much for that contribution there. Wait a second. I didn't realize they were different. Let me look here. Because they all said pearlescent on them. Oh, never mind. I stand corrected. I stand totally corrected. Huh. Oh, never mind. Never mind. That was me being an idiot. Ha. So this is what Valferic. I thought actually you had. Well, it's not even on here. So we have these now. So never mind. I don't have to get them, Valfera. Yep. There's all 5 here. So what is this? Interference green, interference blue. Now I do have. Check this out. I do have these things. So we'll put them in these little jars. These were for my painting classes years ago at Adepticon. So now these are going to have the interference powders in them. So Valfera, if you see these, this will have your powders inside. Your powders in there. So thanks, Valfera. No, Valfera, did you see? So this was, I took a few of the different powders here, mixed them with the oils, and as you can see, I mean, this looks pretty much like what we were doing, right, with the interference paints. Looks pretty darn similar. I think so. Look at this. Now, this is the one thing I got to get. So I didn't see this on their list. This is on the Pearlex. Yeah. So these are from Pearlex. They actually literally have this iridescent pearl white in powder form. So I'm going to try and get this, right? Hey, Nosferatu. So Nosferatu, there is another Nosferatu. Yeah, someone claiming to be Nosferatu was in here, and might be in here again tonight at some point, which was quite humorous. So these definitely potential. However, I suggest one thing. Yeah, look at this. These packages right here. If it's you might want to get these bigger packages because it takes a lot. It takes a lot of this to make the paints into interference colors. It takes an awful lot. Yep, Snow Treasure. It's basically those powders that you saw, that bag of interference blue, say, essentially it's just oil paint with a bunch of interference blue piled in there. It's just that with a whole bunch of it piled in. So one now that we know that, whoops, wrong figure. Now that we know that, now that we know that, that means we don't have to be getting the interference paints anymore. It means that we can just mix whatever the heck we want. Whatever the heck we want. Some of them are more effective than others, though, I have to say. Here, let me see if I can grab some of the other ones here. So, and so this was the one that had a couple of the different violets there. And some just had, like this is Fanchon Red. The one had lots of effect. This had virtually no effect on it right here. And even in some of our other colors, not a whole lot of effect. Now here with the greens, I have to say I put more of the metallic stuff in there, and you can see it had more of an effect. So it takes an awful lot of that stuff. It takes a ton of it. Oh yeah, Velfera, because there's 3 sets, right? The other, what would you say? They're maybe 5 times the size of that, or maybe it's like the size of what you sent, but in a instead of in a bag, it's in a little bottle, right, Velfera? So Velfera, yeah, those are. Is this asphaltum here? Yeah, that's asphaltum over there. So it's been an unusual day so far today, so I apologize for being a little bit on the just for schmizzled side right here. It has been a very strange day on top of a, well, back to back to back to back nights of pretty much no sleep. We ended up with no sleep on Sunday because we had to do an interview thing, and I ended up being up hours and hours and hours later than I wanted to be. And the interview happened very early on Sunday, so that was interesting. Now here, I'm just trying to make sure that I at least have some paint shoved in here. I don't care what's there. It just has to be in there. And I just want it to maybe be a little bit on the darker side. That's all. And there are actually different colors here. Oh, thanks, Megan. So, Queez, I hope that you're doing well also. Hope that you're doing well. Oh, Valfera, I saw. It was weird. I saw your Instagram post there, and it was almost like a dissected miniature or something like that. Like just the parts were there, and it almost looked like there was like blood splatters around where the parts were. I was trying to remember to mention that because it was kind of funny to see that particular post there. So thanks, Megan. Thank you, Megan, so much. Let's do some indigo in here. Why not? Some indigo there. Let's do some more indigo. Maybe a little bit of our ivory black in here. So for sure, the thing that I noticed the most, and I'm sure Valfira, you've already noticed this using yours, that you got to use them with darker colors. You just can't use them with the lighter stuff. Now, maybe the iridescent colors are a little different, like the pearl white or something. That might be different. I'm hoping that it is. But all of those other ones, yeah, you pretty much have to use them with darker colors to get any real significant results. Thanks, Nosferatu. So, Nosferatu, I hope that you're doing good. And, well, praise be Zinch, right? Yeah, praise be Zinch. I think we're all caught up. So, again, the interesting thing about the interference powders and all this other kind of stuff is that you could actually mix those, say, mix them with contrast paints. Not kidding. You just literally mix them with contrast paints. You've got yourself metallic contrast paints. Any color. Yeah, that just think about that. Think of just roll that around in your mind and think of the incredible possibilities of that. Cromnius, how are you doing? Boy, Cromnius, yeah, doing Twitch from the phone, that is not an easy process. Yeah, I was trying to do that last night in Steela's stream, and boy, that didn't go so great. Is Ryder in the house? Hey, Ryder, how you doing? Happy Monday, all that kind of stuff. Let's see, Velfera has several of the colors, got them for the Gundams. So what basically we mixed those with the oil paints, and they pretty much became, like I said, they became an interference paint. They became a metallic paint, which I was really impressed with because essentially what we're trying to do is here. Let me move this up here, and thanks for the bits too, Nosferatu. I appreciate that. This is what we're trying to do. All the same stuff we did on the Mandalorians a couple of weeks ago. That's the same stuff that we're trying to do. Is do all that crazy sort of metallic type things. Let's see. Getting ready to leave. Go do adult things. All right. Well, thanks, Cromness. I appreciate the lurk. You know that always actually, well, it matters to Twitch for sure. So thank you very much. Yeah, Avocado Kids. What was that? Wasn't last week, was it? No. Was it? It wasn't last. It was the week before. Or was it last week? No, it was the week before. Yeah. So Avocado Kids. That was Metals Week. Remember? Because we also remember we did these guys at the end of it here. We did these guys here. Okay. Yeah, that was the whole set there. Avocado Kids. We'll pull those out a little by little here. Yeah, Valfera. Well, was it shipped through? If it's shipped through Amazon, then you're in good shape here. If it comes through the post office, yeah, it's roll a d6 pretty much. All right, we've got our initial glazes on there, right? Let's pull off a little bit of this here. Let's pull off just a little bit of that. M-Tillers, how you doing? Yeah, Nessie, basically I had to create a whole new series. It's all your Mando's fault. It's all the Mando's fault. Because there's a whole new series, right? Metals Workshop. Metals Workshop, all because of Nessie and the experimentation with the interference paints on Nessie's stuff. So yeah, it's all Nessie's fault. We're gonna have to like name an interference paint after Nessie. So you also say thank you to Captain Caveman, who's also fortifying our substance right here. Thank you so much, Captain Caveman. Let's see. Yeah, Nessie, that's well, I think that the neat thing was that we could just kind of go crazy with them on the Mandalorians, as opposed to, well, heck, even if these were the first thing that we did, it wouldn't have been as exciting, right? Because we were trying to replicate a more regular effect. But those Mandalorians were so unique by comparison, and each one was different instead of all the same. Which, thank you very much for letting us do them all different. That really created a whole different universe, didn't it? That really created a whole different possibility. So yeah, sorry, Avocado Kids. It was really exciting with these powdered pigments here because, well, also too, I learned something. I learned something. I found out why these are so powdery and chunky when they come out of the tube before we thin them down. Because when you put the powders into these, your paint becomes, it looks like too much plaster in too little water. Because, well, it is. That's pretty much what it is. Too much plaster in too little water. And you have to thin those down like crazy with the thinner to get them to flow. Oh, and by the way, look at all the shading we're getting on this flag. Just throwing it out there. Look at all the easy shading that's happening here. And by the way, this is just green stuff here. Not kidding. It's green stuff supported by tinfoil. That is not a joke. Here, let's get the rest of this pulled away here. Where's gambling? Where is gambling? Same idea as what we did here. And you can go back and watch this session. This was also one of our Thursday sculpting sessions right here. Go back, check that out. They're all saved as highlights. And it was the same way we did this banner on all of these converted Royal Guard right here. Same idea. So folks, be sure to give Avocado Kids a follow because, well, Avocado Kids, not only does he do fantastic terrain and dice rolling towers, he's not got original music. He will play you original music that he has done on his channel. So you want to see and hear all of those things. You want the full Avocado Kids experience. You want that full Avocado Kids experience. Here, let's get one of these smaller guys here and sneak that in there. So if you remember, we sculpted the horn, we sculpted the armor on him. All this stuff was sculpted here. None of this existed. We took a fire-forged horse, Templar, fire-forged Templar Knight. We gave him the Gondor armor here. We put a different head on him. We just threw a shield on there to make Boromir's shield. We gave him the cloak, some of the extra doodads here. We gave him the banner right here, just like what we've been doing with Imrahil over here. Oh, no problem, Avocado Kids. No problem. And he plays the harmonica like Bruce Willis did back in the 80s. Now look at this. I mean, even now, that's some fairly nice shading, right? What did we do? We just slapped some different colors on there. We slapped some different colors on there. We're wiping some of them away. And now you can start to see, there's the umber up there. You can see some of the Van Dyke brown over here. You see some of the indigo sneaking around over here. Some more of it over there. So those colors, they don't look like there's anything there at the start, right? Well, you're going to see some more of it. You say, why don't you just do this all in Zenithal? Well, Zenithal is just kind of dead. It just sits there and does nothing until you paint over it. This is active Zenithal. Oh, we'll call it active Zenithal. How does that sound? How does the term active Zenithal sound to people? Because it's kind of what it is. That's sort of kind of what it is because we can use this now. So Ryder got their Pelennor field set. So Ryder, in addition to all the other stuff that we're talking about, what's cool is that you also have yourself, Witch King on Fellbeast, right? Witch King on Fellbeast, that's cool too. Let's go to some of our later stuff here. We're going to take this we're gonna take our white over our off-white yellow. Sorry, we'll mix it with a little bit of our little smidge of our ivory black there. I'm almost gonna turn it into a bit of a ashen gray, right? That's our new color. That's gonna sell for $200 a tube. $200 for a 10 milliliter tube, right? Look at that. Nice and easy. See, it is still mixing with what's there. But the ye old dry brush approach that doesn't look like a dry brush because it's mixing with wet oil paint, which of course is fantastic. Let's see. He's the best part of breakfast besides avocado kids. Hey, Angry Ham, how you doing? Well, for you, it's Tuesday, I'm sure. So, well, I guess we'll just say a happy Tuesday over there. Happy Tuesday. Let's just look at see how it's picking up all that darker color right there. Look at how it's picking up all of that darker stuff. So instead of just dry brush texture, look at what we get here. We get ourselves some nice smooth dark gray here, but it's dark gray that's got a little bit of color to it, right? Just a little bit of color. Oh, Fitz Chivalry, all of those are saved as highlights. So I think was it a couple of months ago we painted Prinkles the War Kitty. So just look back to probably either maybe December or maybe it was January we painted Prinkles. So go back and it's through with the highlights. So if you go back through all of the past sessions, you're going to see the highlights, and you'll see the was it Mind Stealer Sphere inks, right? You'll see that as a thumbnail. So just look through all the thumbnails, and you will see Prinkles the cat right there. Let me see. All right, Ryder. We'll still be going for a while, Ryder. So maybe we see you later on. But you'll have to let me know how you like. Well, you got your troll in there too, so you'll have to let me know how you like your Pelennor Field stuff. So thanks for stopping by. Hopefully we see you again in a little bit. Look at this, huh? Tell me it is. It is. I think actually now it's illegal in 32 states. That it's so easy. It's so easy. It is illegal now in even 3 more states. Thanks, Armored Wolf. So, Fitz Chivalry, there is a link to the past session. When was that? Oh, January 5th. All right, so I was right. Well, sort of. I had a window. I had a window there. Here, I'm just going to throw a little bit of this onto here, and then we'll go over the top of that again. So, but yeah, that nice and smooth already, right? Nice and smooth already. And as always, when it comes to so-called washing our brushes, this is what we really mean. Literally just that. I mean, we can clean the brushes. We'll show you the brush cleaner later. Right now, not important. Not super important right now. Let me see. Now, yeah, and folks, be sure to check out Armored Wolf on Etsy, well, on Instagram too, and look at those amazing dice bags, just like what Angry Ham is talking about. Go ahead and look at those because they're sensational, and I do believe there is a Nurgle bag. I think there is an original Nurgle dice bag that is free and unclaimed. There is an unclaimed Nurgle dice bag, so you will have to bury Armored Wolves in PMs and requests about that Nurgle dice bag for sure. There. Look at this. Look at that. But see how little paint is actually on that brush. See how little paint is on there. It just does not take very much, does it? And by the way, that's a 60-cent craft brush where we trim the edges off of it to make it from flat to filbert. Flat to filbert. Nice gentle brush stroke here, right? If we got the death grip on this, we're gonna put a hole in this flag, much less get any kind of smooth blending on there. So yes, less is more, not just paint wise, but pressure wise. So less paint, less pressure. Less pressure, right? Look at this. Huh? Wouldn't you like to be able to paint flags like that? Would this not make painting flags a little less painful? Because flags can be disturbingly painful to try and get through. Like here, I'm just gonna lighten this whole area up here. I'm gonna lighten up even some more. And boom. There you go. Now we got plenty of paint on that brush. We can go back here to our, oh, this is a Sculpey base, by the way. The usual Sculpey clay. Made Boromir a little bit of a base. Maybe we'll do some white socks on the horsey here. I don't know. I think maybe we'll give the interior of our cloak here maybe a little bit of a white. So look at that. So this is again a cloak that we sculpted with our green stuff, just like we did on Imrahil, just like we did on all of our Royal Guard, just like we did on our Easterling Priest. Remember this one? Go back and watch this. Just like we did on our Army of the Dead, well, minus the holes, of course. So go all these sculpting streams. They are saved as highlights, just like Prinkles the War Kitty. They are all saved. They're all right there for you to watch. For the most part, it's just here we go. It's just a sheet like this that we're just gonna break, right? It's just a sheet like this. However, there are times where I cut the bricks separately. Now let me see if I can't just snag a couple of these. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. These guys right here. These guys right here. So these are actually the bricks. I actually do like to cut those out in advance. Now before the Sculpey is baked, I just run an X-Acto knife through it, and I literally just slice up these bricks. So this guy right here, those are actually Sculpey bricks. Now the nice thing is that once they're baked, I can carve them and break them like this, right? So this is what we were painting Saturday. We painted, what was it, 8 of these guys here? Yeah, painted 8 of these guys. And this one was really, really fun. Love the climbing goblin. Who doesn't love a climbing goblin? Yeah, the dragon skin on those dice, all of those different textures and colors on the dice bags are just unbelievable, aren't they? And you should see some of the new metal that's just been cut for some of the new figures. Yeah, that's some pretty incredible stuff. That's some pretty amazing stuff. So we're just gonna go, I think, with an actual white interior on the cloak there. No, we'll leave that be black too. I'm gonna maybe go with maybe a touch of a lighter color up here too, maybe. Yeah, we'll let that get a little bit lighter. We're gonna take a little Terra Rosa, a little bit umber. Let's hit this banner pole here, if we can. Ingraham, well, you hopefully have plenty of success losing that pillow fight, and you have a good night's sleep. And hopefully we see you Thursday for our Sculpting Thursday. So thanks again for stopping in. Avocado Kids is getting some food. That sounds very good, Avocado Kids. That sounds like a fantastic idea. That sounds like a really good plan right now. All right. banner pole. What are we going to do on Mr. Horsey? Do we make it a darker horse, a lighter horse? I don't know. Well, let's go back here to a little bit of that umber and Terra Rosa here. Maybe even a smidge of the asphaltum here. And then let's get there. If there's gonna be all those darker colors, let's maybe get a little bit of a lighter brown on our horsey here, just for a little bit of a distinguishing there. Hey, Gary, how you doing? How you doing there, Gary? Uh, how's the weather been out there? I think you know what things were like here, and I know that I saw your little haircut device right there. So hopefully that worked well and didn't leave any scars behind. Hopefully, because I saw that thing and I went, "Wow, that looks pretty elaborate right there." That was quite the device. Looked like you were using. So nice to see you. Now, I don't know if you saw the latest video there. I just posted it to the Patreon page before we started this right here. Ah, you just got hit again. Okay. Here the snow is, well, it's still not all melted yet. But, well, at least there won't be any more this week. So this is actually all the interference or the metal powders mixed with oil paints. So it's actually powders mixed with paint right there. And it's very much like what we did on our Mandalorians, and of course what we're doing on our Gondor guys right here. So, so sorry, you're right back to the snow again there. That is not that's not what's going to be happening here, which I will take actually after what happened and stuff. So we'll definitely take that. We'll just get a little bit more brown onto this horse here just to kind of distinguish it from everything else. Maybe we start to lighten up his hair too. Just throw in a little bit of cadmium yellow there. Just again, looking to lighten that up. Just looking to lighten that a smidge there. All right, now I'm going to take one of our little micro filberts, which still actually has some of the green in there from last night. And then we'll do a little bit of our metal stuff here. That's a bit of the indigo that is mixed with the Gamlin silver. Again, normally we would do this in our non-metallic stuff, but we're doing some different things here, right? We're trying to do some different things. See what maybe happens here with his shield there. So I just threw a little bit of the interference blue in there. Just a little bit of it. Let's go back over to our, again, indigo blue we wanted. Well, apparently there's also a whole bunch of cobalt left over from last night too that, well, I guess we'll try and find a use for it today, if we can. If we could find a use for it. Now, the one thing we have realized is that the iridescent, right, it does really function as quite the highlight color for metals, no doubt about that. That is quite the highlight color, so we are going to have to definitely explore that some more in the realm of powders. So again, all this stuff we sculpted here.
Hello, little hobbit. Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, Philosopher Dirtbike. Gandalf says, hello, little hobbits. Stay away from the hobbit. It's like, dude, man, I care not for it. Such a little thing. Sure you don't. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. These are the, oh gosh, what is, I always keep forgetting. I always want to call them, Frostgrave is something that they do, but these are from Fireforged. These are the Fireforged Templar horses right here. Now I have the printed horses, right, that you saw, Valfera. I do have those. And actually, oh, I did experiment. I did put a Rohan guy on there. Do I have the thing, or is it over here? Where might you be? Or are you even in here? So I did experiment and play around. I don't know where that went. I never know where things go. But I did put a Rohan rider on one of those horses that I printed, and he fits. So Rohan rider fits on there. Great success. Great success. That was a relief. Hey, Lady B, how you doing? So Lady B, remember we were talking about the food there, right? So I made a lamb chop, and I also took a red onion and I sautéed the red onion and had that along with it. So yes, that was we did that. We had the oh, I want to mix the interference blue with this cobalt blue here. So that's pretty neat. So based on your suggestion of the red onions, let's see. Yeah, so Nessie, we were able to, we're gonna be able to use those as bits for sure. There is now it's pretty much confirmed now. Those are gonna make some fantastic bits. So again, our Saturday extravaganza was all about the goblins. We painted 8 of these guys here, all with the object source lighting and climbing. And on the Instagram page, remember we painted these last week, so both of these are now up on the Instagram. Some pictures of for you guys to see. Plenty of new stuff there. Yeah, it was lamb and onions. It was a lamb and onions kind of a thing. And I just remembered now I still have half of that onion left in there, so I have a feeling that's what I will be having for tomorrow for sure. I do believe that's what we're going to have for tomorrow. So we're going to let this sit here for, it's not going to dry. It's not going to dry. But if I let that sit there for a half an hour before I mess around with it again, I'll be able to do much more with it. But the experiment with the interference powders is that the first experiment I think went really, really well. In fact, I might actually try and paint some skin tones and other things on this here, maybe even when we wait for this thing to dry a little bit. So there might be some other stuff popping up on screen here besides just Boromir. So beware. You know how plans change here all the time. Plans just might keep on changing. I think we'll just throw a little bit of a lighter color here in his hair. Again, this was all stuff that we sculpted here. Get that a little bit lighter on his beard there. Maybe let's start thinking about some of that skin. Let's get some Terra Rosa in here. So what I'm thinking, actually Valfera, so what I was thinking with those bigger packs that you sent right there, what I might do with those is actually literally try to make an interference paint, as in take Egyptian violet, mix it with a whole bunch of those powders, and literally just put it in a jar like this. So those big containers that you sent, I think we should be able to do that. Oh, I guess we're at 16K of our community challenge. So thanks for all the folks that have contributed to that. I completely forgot about that because apparently they're doing the community challenge thing again. So
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
thank you so much, Ollie Slot, for that follow. That is appreciated. Gandalf says, hello, little hobbits. Spork my ganja. Now, of course, we also have the fun little skits, right, that Gandalf and our eagles have had together. Where Gandalf hits Gwahir with one of his dad jokes, an avocado kid style dad joke. We'll have to probably reenact that skit a few times tonight. So maybe we'll even we're gonna go in with some darker stuff here. I think let's hit this the other way now. Maybe a smidge of some dark. We're also gonna get out. Where's our blending brush here? We'll get out that blending brush there. Oh, thank you so much, Velvera. I appreciate that. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually use this right here because this is getting ice cold right now. So Rex, how you doing? How you doing tonight? I hope that you're having yourself a good one. The last filming was really fun. Boy, I learned so much, and even here, yeah, I'm still buzzed about all this printing stuff that we were able to do here. So actually, the Saturday thing, actually able to paint a whole bunch of figures that I printed out myself. So that's got me very excited. That's got me real excited for sure. Let me see. So, look at this. Lady B has Avocado Kids dad jokes requests. Look at that. Dad jokes requests. So Boromir's shield, we're looking at sort of a reddish brown, right, on Boromir's shield, yes, for the most part. Kind of a dark reddish brown, maybe. Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, Rex. Well, I mean, you can always. I know it's not quite the same to just watch the highlights afterwards, but it's all saved. It is all there for you to check out. It's all right there. Yeah, we painted a whole bunch of these. So these are from the Mines of Manzar, I think it's called, or Maznar, something like that. It's and I printed these at 80% to make them the same size as the Moria goblins, and it really did, I think, make them pretty. What would you say? Pretty much the same size for the most part there. So Oli, thank you so much for joining us here. I hope that you're having a good Tuesday morning over there. It's got to be pretty darn early. Let's see if it's 7:26 here. It must be, gee whiz, it must be 1:30 in the morning for you there. Something like that, maybe? No. Yeah, maybe 1:30 in the morning. That's pretty well late slash early, I think. No, no, no. That's still got to be black up there, but we're gonna make that we'll make that lighter under there just for the heck of it, just for giggles, just like what we were doing to his cloak right here. Same thing, same idea. Let me see. So Big Chet, how you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And this is again, this is one of our conversions from our Thursday sculpting sessions. So go back and check those out. I'm going to try and lighten up Mr. Horsey right here even a little bit more. After you paint so many of the GW horses, and heck, even the Song of Ice and Fire horses, this is a whole nother type of horse that I have to get used to painting here. So, uh, Lady B, I was having some success with the 3D printer, and one of the things I was able to print out were just some horses that had no riders on them.
Who enters my domain?
Looky here, look who's back. Look who's back. It is Pun Expected. So folks, be sure to give Pun Expected a follow. We have to support all of our streamers here. Thank you so much for the raid, Pun Expected. And how are you doing on this Monday? It is Monday, right? Yeah. I was thinking, I don't know, maybe it was Saturday or Tuesday or Sunday. I don't know. It's one of those. It's a day. It is a day. So Pun Expected. Well, we're painting one of our conversion figures, right, from our sculpting Thursday. However, last night, remember the video we were talking about using the powders here, mixing them with the oil paints? So we did that. We mixed the metallic mica powders with the oil paints, and this was just like 10 minutes. This was just 10 minutes just slapping some things on this guy just to see what the heck would happen. So that was very fun, and just posted that to the Patreon page like 20 minutes before we started here. So folks, be sure to give Pun Expected a follow. Be sure to give Pun Expected a follow so that Pun Expected can reach all of his follower goals. Now, well, Velfair, I guess what's the weird thing that Twitch does? Like not counting raiders and stuff. It does something weird, doesn't it? Like where it just doesn't count people unless they refresh or something weird like that, right? I never understand how the heck that works. All of that stuff. I I have a feeling that Twitch just keeps changing the rules anyway, just to keep sort of moving the goalposts a little bit, shall we say? So, Nessie, when I was doing, you'll see, you'll see that there's a moment when I was doing, is the green, mica color there. You'll see where the olive green mixes with one of those green mica things, and it looks just like the olive green Mando that we did, and I mean just like it. Looks just like it. Look at this, Rhapsody Studios, also another person you must follow. Deep Unexpected is supposed to actually be able to see your stream and or hear you when I raid. Pun expected, Twitch just does weird things. Maybe there's an ad going or something like that. That's probably maybe what's happening there, pun expected. You might be having an ad playing or something. So it looks like we're at 20K of the community challenge now. And I still don't understand why 58K. 60K is an unusual number even, but why 58 I will never know. It's like maybe they won't notice if it's 58. That is just so weird to me. I don't does Twitch make sense to anybody, really? I don't know if Twitch makes sense to anybody whatsoever. It's that freaky. And it seems to be different every single week. You know what, we'll just maybe darken up his mane a little bit more here. So Lady B, that's what it was. It was ads right behind. What do they call it? An ad wall or something? I think maybe that's what they call that. It's a horsey's got himself some action there. Maybe we're going to take a little bit more of our. No, we don't want any of the thinner in there. Don't want any of that because we can't do the dry brushy thing if there's all kinds of thinner sitting in this stuff. That's more like it. And see how that's actually covering? I mean, ivory black, not really a color that covers a whole bunch of stuff, but it kind of does in this situation. Now, where is our... You know what, we're just going to throw a little bit of our lighter color on top of this interior of the horse blankie here. Why not? Let's just do that. We'll just do a little bit of blind blending back there as well. That's the sweet thing about the oils. You could literally just shove that brush back there and it just sort of... Something was blending because look at all that paint that's on the end of my brush there. Pun expected. I think that's an auto thing. Yeah, I don't know if you get any control or option for that. I think it just sort of happens. Yeah, I think whether you want to or not, you're getting yourself some ads. Now I did just throw a little smidge of the indigo in there. Maybe a little less here. Just some of the ivory black to counter that because I would like this. This is more about, less about the value, more about the color, right? Because the cooler that is, look at the same thing here. Yes, see this? Well, first of all, it kind of solidified this color. It doesn't look like, because we just wiped the paint away there. Now this looks more like a color and less just like stuff that was wiped away. But because it has that tinge of bluishness to it, we get a little extra contrast with the horsey. And what better way to see such things? What does that mean, Valfira? What does that mean when we want to see other types of contrast? I think you know what that means. I know what you want to see. All right, pay really close attention to the difference here between the temperature of these two colors. Don't look at the light or dark, just look at the temperature there. Well, that'll be hard to do when there is no temperature. Kind of the same, right? No difference there. They basically look exactly alike. How's about we do this? How's about we bring back that color here? And look what happens. Huh? Instant contrast. Has nothing to do with value. There's no value contrast. They're the same value. That's color contrast. Oh, thanks, Velfera. Thank you so much. So, Velfera, I mean, this is why you love the film noir, right? Because you just, otherwise you don't necessarily think about that. You see it in film noir and it just punches you in the face, right? That sort of contrast just literally walks up, Rochambeaus you right in the special places and says, "Here, look at me. You didn't realize I was here all along. All you thought about was value. Well, let me tell you, I'm more important than value." Well, and of course, Valfera, wasn't it crazy when we were doing the film noir with those two angel demon things, and they virtually looked the same until you held them next to each other with the color, and all of a sudden you went, "Holy smokes, what is going on here?" Do I need to, you know what? Yep, I'm gonna just do some more stuff with dark here. Let me do another little bit of dry brushy thing in here. And yes, it is virtually a dry brush. I'm not kidding. Huh? Doesn't it look like a dry brush there? I'm just gonna work back in. This thing right here definitely needs to be darker again. And in here too. Okay. Well, that's gonna also have to be. Yeah, we'll have to figure out just how dark do we want this to be. Also, I'm gonna have to hit that with the similar thing what we just did here. Something along those lines gonna have to happen there too. All right. Well, that means, well, we'll just grab some of this now. What was, I forget, I think I remember it was in July. It was one of those creature caster figures, and it seemed to me like the value would be pretty much the same, even though the two colors were radically different. And we did the film noir thing, and people couldn't believe it. When you did the film noir, those two edges blended together. The two surfaces just totally blended together. You took away the film noir, and they separated. It was like this weird, like I say, it's this weird magic trick, like a bizarre magic trick that happens. Oh, thank you so much, Fish Face Frank and Mr. Grunton. Thank you very much. That's appreciated. Well, let's see. It looks like we got 34K to go on our thing or whatever. Now, I don't think, I don't know if we'll be able to make this one because what, you have 48 hours, and well, if we don't stream till Thursday, that could get interesting. I don't know. there's a whole bunch of stuff I have to film and things that I've got. Well, apparently there's stuff on the way here for Reaper Expo. Don't ask me what it is, but apparently at the very literally last minute, there's going to be stuff arriving from Reaper here. So that whole idea of the whole no sleep thing, yeah, that's going to be pretty much this entire week on top of the last 2 weeks of no sleep, which means it's going to get real interesting around here. Oh, it's going to get very interesting. Oh, why don't we just, okay, we're using our iridescent pearl white here, trying to bring out a couple of these lights, but then we got to go the other way. Because remember, when you're working with those metals, it's almost about as much with the darks as it is with the lights. Ah, thank you so much, Unexpected and Rhapsody Studios. Much appreciated. So Rhapsody or Pun, did either of you guys have one of these yet? Because Avocado, you've had this, right? You've had a couple of these community challenge things in yours. I'm just wondering, when do they do these kind of things? Oh, thanks, Cuthbert. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of those. Oh, look at that. Look at how sad that is. Royal Llama, it's all about the color and temperature. And value is value. Here, let's do this again. So the value is important, but basically they get the impression that that's the only kind of contrast, right? And nothing illustrates it better than this. These are the two. There is no value contrast here, but like you said, temperature, right? Red versus blue. Saturation. That's another type of contrast here. So we'll bring this back. And it's pretty much, this is also more saturated than this. This is pretty kind of grungy in comparison to this, because you got Terra Rosa in here and Burnt Umber. So even there, now look at this. This is another illustration right here. Color intensity. Normally blue, here, this side's easier. Normally something like a blue subsides and warm colors come forward, right? Well, in this case, it's just the opposite. Your eye is looking at this because there's intensity here, even though this is a cooler color. So very different. And here, let's grab these two. Let's grab these two and let's do our film noir again. They look almost exactly the same. There's almost no difference, except one is slightly darker than the other one. And then we bring this back, and unbelievable. Totally different, but the value patterns are pretty much the same, aren't they? They're pretty much the same. Let's see. So I think you can set them in the Twitch stream settings. It's weird because, yeah, I haven't done, I didn't do anything. I didn't set those, or I didn't even know about them. So it's kind of weird that those are, well, I guess you're just randomly chosen. That's what it said. Yeah, Royal Llama. What happens? And I don't know if you heard this story of, was this a couple of Reaper cons ago, where someone asked me to do the typical, here, would you look at my miniature and give me what critique on it or whatever? And I said, is it okay if I put your miniature up on screen? And they said, well, okay. And I did that thing with the black and white, and I didn't say anything. I just looked at them, and they looked at me, and they said, give me 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I'll be back. They went away, came back 15, 20 minutes later. They said, do that black and white thing again, which we did. And then they looked at it, I looked at them, they looked at me, and they said, all right, give me 5 more minutes. And they came back, we did the film noir again, and we just nodded to each other, and that was it. It was like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Contrast. I mean, it was fantastic. We didn't have to say anything. We just did it all in our minds. Yeah, I think. Oh, thank you so much, Asmodee. Asmodee, thank you so much. Thank you very much there. Looks like we have 16K to go. So much appreciated, everybody. I know that's just an extra silly thing that you got to worry about when you're trying to watch this thing on your phone, which is no fun trying to do anything on the phone with Twitch, that's for sure. So ever since that's a thing, like that wizard that I showed you there, that was actually painted in one of my tutorials. And I, for the first 45 minutes of painting that, it was painted in black and white. It was painted in film noir. I told people what was going on there. The palette camera was in color, just like it is here. But what they saw was just black and white. And they had to sort of visualize in their heads what was going to happen when that color was brought in. I think it was about minute 47 we brought in the color. Let's see. Yeah, oh, Garrett, that's the other thing. Yes, I guess it won't let you do that on the phone or something like that. There's some weird, silly thing. It's like, yeah, you can't do this. And I was like, whatever. Come on, guys. Wow, you're making things difficult. Well, and also, obviously, it doesn't have the discoverability, say, of YouTube. So for folks like Pun Expected and such, it's just tougher for anybody really. Like what are those gamer guys that have thousands and thousands of people watching at any one time, and that just pretty much Twitch just says, here, look at this one person that already has 20 bazillion people watching them, instead of, well, you know what, like maybe this is their sort of weird attempt at trying to rectify that. Maybe it is. Now, do I need to add any more light? No, I don't think so. So Gary, have you ever used or painted Oathmark miniatures at all? Because there's now a whole bunch of Oathmark miniatures here. Because it seems like all the old school Middle Earth guys, that's what they use is Oathmark miniatures. Even if it's telling, oh, blame the brush. Okay. Well, actually, I just blame Big Acrylic. I'm going to blame Big Acrylic for sure. I think it's all their fault. I think that's why Big Acrylic, they probably also invest in Twitch or something like that. So there's that reddish brown we were talking about there for Boromir's shield. That was asphaltum with a smidge of fanchon red to it. Asphaltum with a little bit of fanchon red. Now, we kind of actually grab some of our silver over here, because we need ourselves a horizon line on this, and that darn well better have some metallic natures. See how that just, look at how that just got so different, and just a couple of brush strokes, boom, very different look to that. Let's continue with that horizon line, darken it down. But you see how it's uneven, and it's sort of following the circular nature of the shield here. We also got to do that here, right? We need to do that here. I'm going to need to lighten this up. Perhaps a little bit. I don't know. Let's see what happens with some cobalt blue here. We haven't really mixed this with the interference stuff before. I'm curious to see what that's going to do. So interesting. Voice full of karma. Big acrylic. We definitely want to have some kind of merch for big acrylic or something like that. Who knows? You know, maybe somebody cosplays big acrylic. It's sort of looking like the Monopoly Man right, with the big top hat and the monocle, just chucking around $100 bills and stuff. Yeah, that's big acrylic for you right there. I don't know if you've ever seen the big acrylic helicopters that come in. Yeah, they actually have their own fleet of helicopters that'll land on your lawn. Big acrylic is always watching. It's always there. It's always watching. It's sort of like a more demonic Santa Claus or something like that. That just wants to take away your Christmas. Yeah, there you go. It's disguised as a contrast paint jar. That's it rolls into your house as a contrast paint jar, and then spills all over everything, right? And says that'll be another $8. That's what big acrylic does. Yeah, you think we're kidding. You think we jest. Okay, so here's the deal again. We need to oh no, let's use our Prussian blue and interference blue because for whatever reason, when it comes to the metallic stuff, it's all about the darker colors, not the lighter colors. So we're actually going to use a much darker blue here. And I think, you can see that now. And what's interesting is that is very much a metallic color. That is very much metallic paint up there. See that? But it kind of shifts a little bit in the color. Naraku, that I am not familiar with those. Maybe somebody in the chat is familiar with those guys. Uh, as long as it's plastic, I think it would be resin. Obviously, is going to have its own properties that maybe you wouldn't want to be eaten. But uh, I think for the most part, a plastic miniature is a plastic miniature. Rhapsody Studios has to go prep for the stream. So, folks, be sure to give Rhapsody Studios a follow so that you'll be able to watch Rhapsody Studios stream. And please be sure to give him a follow and check him out. Check out Rhapsody Studios. So, I don't know if you got to see. Here we go. This was a couple of weeks ago. We painted a couple of our Mandalorians here with sky earth effects, but using metallic paints right here. And then we sort of took it to a more extreme degree by using the interference paints. So these are all with the oils too, all with the oils. And then we painted this one right here, also again with the metallic stuff. And then that very weekend we painted, what was it, a dozen of our Gondor Knights here with the Sky Earth TMM effect, but with the metals. So that was very fun. And then this was the video I was just filming last night. This was part of it here to see if these powders would create the same effect as what we've been doing with our interference colors, like so. And it really did. It really did give the same effect there. So I was really pleased. And you can see we've got actual shading here. You even got some shifting of color. You can see the blue, then back to the green over here. So I'm super excited about this, and it really is just the start. It's just the start. Yeah, pun expected. The thing I'll have to get is for sure is the pearlescent ones. I'll have to get those. I think those are gonna really be interesting because like here I'm sort of vaguely able to make this, well, that does have a metallic look to it actually. But this is the iridescent pearl white mixed with basically cadmium yellow and a little bit of yellow ochre of all things. But see how that almost kind of creates a bit of an earth tone right there? That's the kind of stuff I'm hoping that we can create. But with the powders, that the nice thing there is potentially you can mix those very same powders with acrylics if you either don't have, let's say the oils don't give you enough drying time for when you need it. Well, now you can do the exact same effect, but if you need to use acrylics because of deadlines or time frame or whatever, you could use acrylics with the exact same material. Yep, pun expected, just mixing them into the regular oil paints. Now, it can be messy. It's just like working with weathering powders. Think of it as just like working with weathering powders. And of course, it dries out the paint, and you have to put a fair amount to make things happen. It also explains why when these things come out of the tubes, it looks like stale peanut butter as opposed to regular peanut butter. Ah, Garrett can actually see now. Ah, speaking of seeing, what do I spy with my little eye? I spy inner excellence. How you doing, inner excellence? Happy Monday night slash Tuesday morning. I don't know how why I was saying Thursday morning, but well, that's going to happen soon enough. That's going to happen soon enough. Now, we will probably be continuing with our sculpting of the great eagles, but there might be some other stuff, potentially using some of the parts that I have printed on the 3D printer to maybe do some conversion stuff as well, because that's one of the big takeaways from last week with the sudden success with the 3D printing is that, oh, yeah, I could be using these for mass amounts of conversions. Ah, you got to watch that one, Inner Excellence, and oh boy, I I almost want to film the next one on Tuesday. Just, well, A, so that everything is fresh in my mind. B, we still got to do the purples, right? We still have to do the purples. Oh, and you know what we've got? We actually do have, I have an entire army painting series, not based on these guys, but on the naiads or whatever from Mantic, but I do have these. Actually, who knows? We might be painting one of these on Friday. Who knows? Or some Reaper stuff that also is fishy in nature. See what I did there? Yeah, you don't get that kind of wordsmithing on just any channel, which is probably good because then nobody would ever watch Twitch. That's my version of Avocado Kids dad jokes right there. Yeah, that's my version of the Avocado Kids dad jokes. Let's see. Got to check out the. Okay, I think we're all caught up on the chat there. But so many folks were saying that it was either really expensive for them to get the Williamsburg version, or that they just couldn't get them. Period, because they'd been overseas or something. But just like Valfera, it's like, yeah, mica is mica, and you don't necessarily need to get this one particular type. It's kind of everywhere. It should be easier for folks to find. And if that's the case, I totally forgot I sculpted that. I was like, wow, who was the genius that had this flow right over the horse? Oh, that was me. I was the genius. Let's just get that pulled down right into our little crevice there. And what we're just trying to do is get this ready for our freehand designs, which is going to make all this stuff look a whole lot darker. It will actually look so much darker because we're going to be putting some lighter colors over the top of this here. Let's see. Let's pop in some light there, some light over here. Just about, I think, ready to maybe play around with some of our freehand there. This I might lighten up while I'm at it here too. I think we've let that sit there for a little while. Cause yeah, this was I think this was one of the this was the third one that we did, and with each one of these that I did, I realized you had to put more and more and more of that stuff in. So by the time I got to the green and the black here, or the green and the silver, I knew you really got to pile that stuff in because uh, this one and these two right here, this was exactly like what happened on the Mandalorians, and this was the first recognizable effect I got. And after I think it was 3/4 of the way through the video, I finally got something that seemed similar to me. So it just took a little while to kind of get that dialed in, the amounts and such, which didn't surprise me. But look, see, I got to go back here. I got to get some more. Back here and get some more of this. Let's just hit that, and can we make this lighter? We can make that a little bit lighter. Don't necessarily want to go a whole bunch lighter here. I will do something in here to just make that a little less dark. Just a little less dark down in here. But this is that sort of blind blending. Would you really want to be trying to mix all this stuff or blend all this with acrylics? Would you really want to be doing that all the way down here in the depths of that flag? Something tells me no. Something tells me no in a big way, in a very, very big way. I'm going to see what we've got here. Let's just grab some lighter color here. Let's start to think about what we want for some freehand on here. Let's see if I can find any of my pictures here. What have we got here? Looks like almost some sort of a knotwork design. Let's just start out easy here. Let's start out the easy way like so. And we're just going to do ourselves that little straight line here. Oh, let's see. Royal Llama is a blend off white and black with acrylics. The Royal Llama, it's just no glazing, none of those crazy things. It just, yeah, none of those crazy things to have a hassle with. And yes, this is freehand with wet oils on top of wet oils for sure. Look at this. Dr. Gun Go Pew Pew says, have you ever found any drills or ways for someone to practice painting volumes and highlights? Dr. Gun, well, you could, if you're doing the oil paint thing, well, actually, it doesn't matter because that whole paint removal thing, I do that same thing with acrylics too. So I would just say paint, if you got all those scaven, go ahead and just paint those guys up. Maybe give yourself a challenge of trying to get some different tones in there instead of just all brown. Maybe see what kind of other tones you might be able to get in there. See what kind of reflected light that you can get in there. Maybe even do a little bit of object source lighting on a couple of them. Trying out this evening over wet oils with no problem. To do the so that the cell shading, and then the whole comic book style, right, where there's no where you got the no shading thing going on, right? this is why we love the oils so much. It's like, yeah, we didn't want that there, so I just wiped it away, literally like I have an eraser. It's like I've got an erase. See, that's for whatever reason. That's it here. Let's just trim this down the other way here. Let's just grab a little bit of our indigo. And we'll just take that away. So that's the idea where there's a bunch of kind of almost like outlines, right? Or something along that, something like that. There's a whole bunch of outlines and it's just solid shapes instead of shading. I don't imagine myself ever really doing something like that because I never really got into, well, I never read comic books, so there's a lack of familiarity for sure with even what they're supposed to look like. So there's kind of that. Um, and when you've been doing the regular art, it's ironically enough, the comic book stuff and the other type of more classic art, they are very different from each other. And there's usually not a lot of crossover when it comes to just as you're doing the 2D art, right? They tend to be a little bit more individual. Oh, thank you so much, Ben. And Ben, that yeah, that you had sent the Witch King before, but I was just really glad to have the picture again because it is really sensational. I love all of the so many fun different colors going on just in the skin and muscle tone of the fell beast itself. I mean, yeah, the object source lighting also just fantastic, but I really loved all of those fantastic tones in the fell beast. That was absolutely love that. Oh, thanks, Dr. Gunn. Yeah, so Dr. Gunn, that's something that I was. If you got all of those Skaven there, set up a couple of them. Was that Warp Lightning or something like that, right? If you got that many Skaven, just I don't know, put something that's maybe they set it on fire like a flaming skull. They set something on fire with the Warp Lightning or whatever, and that could probably be really fun for you to give that a try. See how that goes. So that would be my if you got that many Skaven to mess around with and you can use it like a laboratory, why the heck not? Oh, thank you so much, Anthro. I appreciate that. Let me see. I think we're all caught up. Well, we're at 38K. So what do we got to get to 58 or it's 58, right? For some bizarro reason, so we need 20K or something like that. Yeah, see, look at how we are completely messing up Avocado's kid's lurk. We are completely messing that up. He wanted to just lurk, but we keep drawing him in. Look at that. So Nessie, you'll have to actually anybody that's done the comic book style, maybe if you could just send me some pics on Instagram or something like that, that would be very fun to see. I would certainly get a kick out of that. Now you could see how the oil, the underneath colors are getting kind of absorbed into that, right? It's mixing together. Well, that's a really fun thing because it means that it's shading my freehand. Yeah, I'm literally getting free shading, which I mean, phew, that's not terrible, right? That is not terrible. And I'm gonna look at. Let me see if I can't get a little bit closer here on some of these. Oh, that's the pattern that I should be seeing there. Okay, all right. Let's see if we can do that. We'll just try that maybe right up here on Mr. Horsey. Let's get a little bit more of our lighter tone here. I'm just going to take one more quick peek at this. Interesting. All right. So it's not all that different from what we did on our Rohan guys then. And it's just going to be a whole lot of over and under then, looks like to me. Whole lot of over and under. Now Veil Fair, with the what I saw on your Instagram there, are those? It almost looked like the pieces were magnetized. Uh, Probably not, but it did look like those pieces were magnetized, which that sort of intrigued me a little bit right there. Again, probably not. It's just I looked at that and said, "Ah, man, that almost looks like they were magnetized." See if we can bring this right up to here. Like so. Again, it's that typical sort of knot work over and under pattern here. Yeah, Velfira, that's I've been seeing the interesting typing there. No, but I could if I had the magnets. Now, Velfira, I do have rare earth magnets here. I could send you some rare earth magnets. I don't know if they're necessarily the size that you could use for that. There was a whole bunch of those that I had for Song of Ice and Fire. Let's do the same knotwork deal here. Let's just get it started on this side, and we'll just carry that right over. Speaking of over, there's the under, there's the over. But you notice I have to keep going back to get fresh paint here. And of course the banner is just sticking literally right into my finger. It's like it's stabbing me in the finger, which is really interesting when you are trying to do tiny freehand. Yeah, unfortunately for me, whenever I'm working with those stupid rare earth magnets, they literally want to fall onto my phone or onto the computer or whatever it is that I'm using. Doesn't matter what sort of precautions that I take, or my camera, right? And it wants to basically land right on top of the SD card, because SD cards and magnets, we all know how well those two get along. So that's that can be a little bit unfortunate. Okay, I'm gonna get me some, just mix up some more. This is our brilliant yellow pale. There is a smidge of the white in there though too. Where are we at here? I think we're all caught up. I think we're all caught up. When you do this stuff, when you're adding your thinner like that, you can kind of only add so much before it literally starts to become a pinline wash. It's a little bit of a delicate balance, because remember, with the oils, you can thin them all you want, but you're not diluting them. Pain will definitely be doing the flag. We'll definitely do the flag. It's one of those things where I have to, that the longer I can let that paint just kind of set, the easier it's going to be to get the freehand over the top of it. I mean, obviously, you could just let things dry, and then you could do the freehand over the top of that. That's what we did. What series was that? Oh, that was our Lumineth series, where we just let things dry, and then we did the the freehand and interference paints over the top of it. So that was a case of where we just had to actually thicken the paint that was on the brush, because right now that there's a lot of paint up there. We want to let that set for as long as we can. We'll probably do this part of the design first. There's a whole bunch of crazy little things going on, and there's some greens and browns and lots of weird patterns that I didn't quite expect there. But here, let's maybe take a smidge of our cadmium yellow in here too, just to do something on that horn, maybe even reflect it onto the armor just a smidge, just to do something there. So yeah, there's and I don't know if you can see it in this reference here underneath the logo, there's a whole bunch of patterns that are right over here. So we're gonna have to do those guys as well. Here, let's get a little bit more of our yellow mixed into this. Also, we're gonna do some surgery on the brush here just to make this a little bit less annoying here. That's better. Nixel, thank you so much. And Nixel, well, hopefully, actually, Nixel, you are now fully recovered from all of the the difficulties there with the illness, and hopefully you're all 100% now, ready for action. What is the best way to? We're gonna go this way. Yep, we'll go this way with it. Let's see. The camera makes it look as though there's a black dark outline around your white freehand. Well, it's also the lights and the wet oil paints, so that is definitely also a little bit of an optical, what we call optical delusions, right? So there's a little bit of just the glistening of the oil paint there that's going on. And that actually does go away as the oil paint dries. This food tastes super weird. Let's get on the front page again. Oh, 18. Okay, 18 more. Oh, that's the community challenge thing. Okay. And the funny thing is, maybe I've looked at the front page all along and never saw it as the front page. Maybe I've just never seen it as that before. Let's take some of that away. We don't need all of that there. And here I'm actually literally using the paint that's on there. See how it's mixing with this? Why am I letting it mix with that? Because I want it, well, I want it to be darker, right? It's in the shadows. It is in the shadows. So I'll show you that freehand thing that we were talking about. Boy, there's actually I just did a special video for the Patreon page on freehand. That was the last video of February, but again, the first video of March, we just posted it not less than an hour before we started here. It was all about using those powders, the mica powders, mixing those with oil paints, to create a metallic. And actually that's what we've done here. We've actually taken the interference paint, so that is actually metallic oil paint right there. Just because, well, the Gondor army here, our Gondalorians, they are going to apparently have the metal paints on them. That's kind of how it worked out. Was not the original plan by any stretch of the imagination, but that's how it's going to work. Oh, thank you very much, Brainsore. That's appreciated. So it looks like 40, so what, 16K for the community challenge. Now we're starting to get to the end of the cloak here. Let's make sure we have enough space to end this. Can you see? Ah, look, it looks like you can actually see it too. That's good. So we're just going to end it right over here. And remember, you can always go back with the oils again to make some modifications, kill some edges, clean some edges, do whatever. It is not a zero-sum game by any stretch of the imagination because, well, where's our gambling here? If you remember, we made all kinds of adjustments. So that part of the pattern there, we tried doing it here. It made no sense. It looked silly. So we did a different pattern there. We moved this horse back, I think. We moved that horse back, and then the suns here, we had to, one was bigger than the other. When we flipped it over, we said, okay, we literally just wiped it away and started that one again. So you can go back and watch those. As we say, thank you also to Inner Excellence. Thank you so much, Inner Excellence. Look at the last few drops of, well, now that's pretty much almost ice chocolate at this point. There's very little, there's very little hot in that hot chocolate right there. There is not much of that left. Now let's see if we can't, where would our tree, if I was a tree, where would I be? I think I would be right about here. See if we can't maybe do a little bit of white tree of Gondor type stuff here. Let's do them roots. Let's do them roots. Yeah, Nessie, is this yet another thing that we're gonna need? Oh, shall we say a hospitality fund from the folks that create those powders? I mean, we don't use the BREB word here, do we? But I don't know. Maybe we need a slice of that powder pie. I mean, if we're gonna be getting folks to buy those powders, I don't know. I think we need a piece of that powder pie. Tasty, tasty mica pie. That's good eating right there. I mean, you need iron in your blood, right? So why not? Oh, thank you, Slow Buildings. Thank you so much. I don't mind going through all this because, well, then I get to have more. Then I get to have a whole bunch more. You know what? Oh gosh, let's make our tree here. Let's get some branches coming up like so here. Tall branches into those folds and stay wet. Well, clearly, Stay Wet wants our throat to stay wet, so thank you very much for that. Which I believe has us down to 10K for the challenge here. Down to 10K. Well, let's see. Upon expected, you're definitely well, here's the good thing. Pun expected. Normally, when you add things like fruit and stuff to pie, that danger is that it adds too much moisture and gives your crust a soggy bottom. Speaking of soggy bottom, Trasharama, how you doing? No affiliation to soggy bottoms, but to a branch, yes, another branch over here. Another branch coming this way, right there. The mica powder would compensate, right? So you could actually put more fruit filling inside a pie because the mica flake would counter all of that additional moisture. That the mica powder takes away all of that extra moisture from the fruit, so you could add even more delicious fruits to your pie. That would make it even healthier. So I don't know, I see mica flakes as a health food, not a danger. Thank you so much, Wolfwoman. That is appreciated. So we got we're 52K. We're 6K away. All right, isn't that the thing that Paul and Prue are always talking about on the British Baking Show, right? You don't want a soggy bottom. And putting too much fruit or things that have a lot of moisture in there as it cooks, right, it leaches out of there and it, well, gives you a soggy bottom. I mean, even when you were a kid, right, you never really wanted a soggy bottom, so you certainly don't want that in your food. Now, I guess these are just a whole bunch of leaves right here, so let's do some leaves for ourselves on our little white surrender tree of Gondor right here. Yes, that all that surrender goodness right there. Look at that, all that white stuff. So, Trash, how are you doing there? It's it's hard to believe it's that weak. You know, the RVE seemed like it was months away. Still seemed like it was weeks away. Now it's barely just days away. Holy smokes! So, folks, for folks that have not heard of this, it's the Reaper Virtual Expo. That is this weekend, I believe, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All trash. I actually had what was his name? Oh, it was Randall Snodgrass, the bluegrass bard. His band was the real Soggy Bottom Boys. That was his band, the real Soggy Bottom Boys. Yes, sirree. All right, so we've got our a little bit of tree action that's going on with Boromir's little cloak right here. Let's see, Royal Llama took a day off for RVE, looking forward to it. So now, Trash, are all of the classes filled, or are there still spots for people? Well, I'm sure some classes are all filled, but are there still some spots open for folks to register for classes? So, White Wolf Ranger, how you doing? Nice to see you again. Hope that you're doing well. And I'm pretty sure for you, well, it may not be Tuesday morning. It might be early Tuesday afternoon, very early Tuesday, maybe, I don't know, 12:26 in the afternoon, possibly. Or is it 1:20? I don't have my phone with me, so I can't cheat. That is normally how I cheat on my time zones here. Ah, it's exactly 12:26. All right. There we go. There we go. Just my little spidey sense said, yeah, it's got to be 12:26 out there. So well, it makes sense, Trash, that there's unlimited class spots, right? Since, well, you don't have to be there. That's really cool. That's just me thinking the old way, right? That's just me thinking old style right there. And there's your class schedule, folks. So again, be sure to look at that. Go check that out. That is your Reaper Virtual Expo class schedule right there. I'm just gonna wipe all that out. Again, the beauty of oils. You just say, all right, I'm just going to get this going again. Didn't like where that worked out, so we're going to do it again. And if we don't like how that works out, we could do it again. There's just a weird fold right here. That's what's going on. Okay, I couldn't see it from this other angle. So there is a weird fold there. So I'm going to have to hold it this way. I'm sorry, you won't be able to see it so well. But otherwise, I'm going to keep running afoul of that fold right there. That's why it was okay. It was literally pushing my brush in a direction I didn't want it to go. It's going to get more interesting as we go this way, but, is what it is. Yeah, you can't argue about that price now, can you, Trash? Can you? I'm really glad that they were, if the storm had to hit, that it hit a few weeks ago instead of last week or this week. I'm really glad that they at least had some time to try and recover. Because that, Dayton Cycle, how are you doing? Nice to see you in here. No, I'm not going to use this one. I'm just going to just grab this right here. And again, there's a whole bunch of folds here, so we are just going to have to do a little bit of finagling on this. So folks, I'll be streaming all of those days. Well, I mean, Friday and Saturday are normal stream days for me anyways, but I will try to stream also on Sunday earlier in the day. So that will be 3 Repricon streams, and the Thursday stream for this week could very well be me basing a bunch of Reaper figures. So we could be doing some basing on Thursday. I know for uh, virtual ReaperCon, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, we did a massive session of basing where I think I based like a dozen different Reaper figures or something. So don't be surprised if that is this Thursday on Sculpting Thursday, among other things. That could happen, so be ready. Like Payne says, you just can't beat that price. Try to beat that price. I dare you. I dare you to beat that price. Here, let's continue with our knot work. We can push the tree over into this easy to reach area here. Let's do that. Let's just push the tree over here. Push that, well, I won't push it too far. I think this is where we can go with it, right there. Yep, that's where we can go with it. I'm hoping at some point they do a song about Midway, because that is that's all, well, especially if you live where I do, which is very close to Midway Airport. That particular thing just has a lot of significance for you. So it'd be really interesting for them to do a song on that. But yeah, I think they've actually written some episodes of the Time Ghost Army. Oh, and actually, the Sabatone video on Lawrence of Arabia, Indy Nidell, the guy that narrates all the documentaries, he actually plays Lawrence of Arabia. They actually dress him up and have him be Lawrence of Arabia. So yeah, the Time Ghost Army, they did their World War I in real time. So literally every day of the week, or every week, they would say, okay, this week, this, and this happened. They did an interwar series, and now they're obviously doing the Second World War week by week with other special episodes. So yeah, they did, I think it was called the Great War series, and now they're doing a World War II in real time. They have the Interwar series. They've got the War Against Humanity series. They've got all these different series going on, which is some really amazing stuff. So we're just, and while we're out of here, why not just chuck in some freehand branches? I mean, just because I first saw the World War I stuff, and then I saw their Interwar series, which I really love the Interwar series. And then I heard they were going to do the World War I in real time. I said, "Oh, gotta watch this. Have to see this." All right, we are going to have to do a little connect the dot on those branches there. Ooh. And then guess what? We have to flip this over on the other side, and we have to do this again on the other side with making it the same size and all that sort of goodness. That should be very fun. Deuce, how you doing? So, Deuce, I don't know if you heard all the news about the interference powders and the first video, which I don't know, we might just have to film the second video on those tomorrow night. Actually, yeah. So, hey, Deuce, we're 1K away from this another one of these crazy community challenge things here. Literally 1K away. We just gotta get that out the door. But here's powders, and we mixed them with the oils, and we were able to do some really fun stuff. So check that out. That was really nifty. We did a whole bunch of swatches and such like this. Ah, there we go. That was the Brave New World, right? Ah, Stila. So folks, be sure to give Stila Rebel a challenge. Thank you so much. That's appreciated. You know what? We got it here. We got it sitting here. Let's do this. Yeah. We'll give it a hype train. All aboard. All aboard. Right there. All aboard. Hype train. So folks, if you follow Still a Rebel, you'll get an actual train. Her hype train is a train. It just rolls by your house all the time. So if you follow Still a Rebel, you'll not only get a hype train, it will be an actual genuine train. So Steel, those were the powders I was telling you about last night, but these came in. Valfera sent me these. Look at this. Look at this. And you see all these different. So he sent these. You can see there's a whole bunch of other options here available too, but we have these to play with. So actually tomorrow night I'm gonna film videos with these things. Ah, Jimmy the Brush, how are you doing? Welcome in. We're just having some fun here with one of our conversions. So this Boromir conversion was very much like our Imrahil conversion here. Took a Fireforged horsey. Now in this case I took some forge roll bits and then did some sculpting on the rest. But here we just we sculpted the robe, the flag, horn, shield, head, all that kind of stuff. We just had to sculpt all those things in. Thank you so much, Jimmy the Brush. And folks, I'm sure you're already following Jimmy the Brush, but just double check because, as we know, Twitch is twitchy and it will unfollow you, even though you don't want that to happen. Uh, I'll never forget when my moderator said, "Yeah, I have to refollow you." My own moderator had to refollow me. So the unfollowing thing, that is a thing, and just make sure that you are still following Jimmy the Brush. So Jimmy, how are things going? Oh, actually, Jimmy, funny you should mention that because this is something we pretty much do every single episode now. So I painted this one on a YouTube live, last year maybe, year before, and probably the year before. This is literally with fluorescent paint. This is acrylics, fluorescent paint, the brightest, most intense acrylic colors you could possibly find. As it turns out, we painted something in a similar scheme with oils, and this looks like a badly colorized 1930s movie. This is Technicolor. Look at these purples here. It's a joke. It's an absolute. There's no competition here. This absolutely just squishes this as far as luminosity goes. Absolutely squishes it. It's unbelievable. And and here let's show you some of these. What we've been really playing around with lately is using interference paints. So this is metallic oil paint right here. And all of those, that's not shininess from the lights. That is actually literally painted in with the interference paints. So we've actually been able to do things like some sky earth TMM with the with the oil paints. We we were able to do this right here. Again, that's all metallic oils. And Then for our Saturday challenge a couple weeks ago, we did 12 of these guys in the TMM with the oils. Oh, thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate that. Let's see what does Deuce say there? The Inquisitor minis. Deuce, are those the 54 mils? Are those the 54 mils? Those are nice. Those 54 mils. Really like those. Is there a Bill Robertson in the house? There's a Bill Robertson. Bill, how you doing there? Nice to see you. Just looking for the. There it is. Just looking for the brush there. So Stila, what the heck? Was it just Twitch being Twitch last night when the stream went boom? Because well, or was it your internet provider doing what happened to me? Because either that or you jinxed it. Because remember, remember you were saying how great the internet is there, and I was just like, did she just jinx herself? Or Chris, how are you doing? So, folks, be sure to also give Orchrist Gaming a follow. Yes, do that. Bill is a learning session with some oil paint, emphasis on the learning. Well, Bill, yeah, wait till you see the video on the interference powders because I was learning totally on the fly. I had no idea what was going to happen with those things. I had no idea what was going to happen with those. It was completely learning on the fly. Oh, thanks, Kaylee. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The oils really do make the freehand easier because if you need to change things, and we've already done that several times, if you need to make a change, it is very easy to do so. Like, I don't know, say right here. We say, yeah, no, maybe not. And, oh, look at that. We're right back to where we were. No fuss, no muss. So is that what happened, Steela? Because I thought, okay, that's just Twitch being Twitch, because, well, we know how Twitch is. But I wasn't sure if your internet provider decided to demonstrate for you its power by saying, we really do control your entire stream. You didn't realize it, but we do. Let's see, Robbie's starting his first 40K army. So, Kaylee, how are you doing? I hope that you've been having yourself a good start to the week thus far. Here, let's get this thing up just a little bit further here. So we gotta do all the little details in here, and we gotta get these things going horizontally this way too. Wouldn't it have been, Stila? Wouldn't have been? I think so. Very much so. So yeah, this thing done with actually with powders and oil paint combined. And this was maybe 8 to 10 minutes max, something like that. Really, oh. Now, of course, for folks that want to see object source lighting in mass amounts, we did 8 of our little goblins here on Saturday with the full object source lighting, so you can go back and watch this. These were actually miniatures that I printed out myself, and boy, there's a lot more where those guys came from. Bill, I'm glad that the attempt has gone better. Bill, you would, when you see that video, by the time I got to that figure, I knew so much more about how to use those stupid powders. Oh, Steely, we actually have a 51st chapter in the Book of Wappel, too. It's from that video. So basically, if the powder is the same value or darker than the color, the powder has no effect. Literally has no effect. So The paint has to be darker than the powder, otherwise you have zero effect from it, which is really weird, but that's exactly what happens. There is no effect from the powder unless the paint is darker. Which, when you think about it, right, interference paints, we're generally using them with darker colors anyways. It just makes sense. It really does just make sense. All right, time to do this, the little squigglies here on the end of these. Are those squigglies? Oh yeah, for those of you that are thinking about spending a whole bunch of money on green, gold, well, you could pretty much, I think this olive green mixed with something like burnt umber will give you the same exact thing, only for about a third of the price. So yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, and Steal It, you'll be glad to know that even as we were filming the powders episode, we were already eliminating powders. We're just like, well, yeah, we don't need that one. Well, okay, that one's pretty much redundant. We don't need that one either. Look at this. Look who's here. Look at it's Tectonic Studio. Tectonic Studio. So, folks, if you are not familiar with Tectonic Studio, you need to go head on over and see all kinds of spectacular MDF terrain. Anything that you could want in MDF, it's there at Tectonic Studios. So go look them up. Go look up Tectonic Studios. So how have you been doing? Hopefully it hasn't been too crazy with all the situation and stuff. Do I? Which way do we go with this? I'm gonna go this way with it. Yeah, we'll do this around the outside here. Yeah, I'm gonna do it around the outside. What the heck? We'll change up this design here. Tectonic Studio. Oh, okay. So, folks, while you have another mission, you've got another mission. You also have to give Tectonic Craft Studios a follow. You must do that as well. So be sure to give Tectonic Craft Studios a follow and make things absolutely insane. Go over there, blow up his follower count, do all those things. Because you should. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Tectonic. This we're actually just working on a Boromir conversion figure here that we've done. We've done a whole bunch of sculpting here on the channel. Some of it scratch sculpting, some of it conversion. So he is very much along the lines of our Prince Imrahil conversion here. We gave him a shield, gave him a different head, sculpted the cloak like we did here. And let's see some of our other little sculpting here. We did the same thing for Easterling War Priest. Did all of the cloaks, gave him a whole new banner, just kind of change things around. And we've also done some scratch sculpting too. So there's our great beast of Golgoroth that we did. We've recently done some eagles. Recently did some eagles, and then this is fun. I never thought I'd ever get a chance to do stuff like this, but we've actually had a chance to sculpt some portrait busts here too. So that was fun. That was a couple of weeks ago, right? Yeah, we sculpted the beast, and here's some riders of Rohan right here. We needed Royal Guard, so we took regular riders. We snipped off the bows and some of that other stuff. We gave them new helmets. We gave them new cloaks. We gave them flags, all that kind of stuff. So that figure was actually a fire forged. What was that thing called? It was a fire forged. I'm looking for. Here's my other horsey. Templar Knight. So there's that same horse. Literally, that's that same horse again. We added some Tomb King's bits, our Army of the Dead. We did some sculpting there, kind of like what we did here. So Tomb King's head. We did some sculpting on the neck there, some sinews, some muscles, and then we did our little cloaky thing right there. Oh, Jimmy, it's people have said so many people have bought Lord of the Rings figures after what we've been doing here. Let's see, Tectonic is, oh, you're in Wisconsin now. So definitely a lot closer. So a few hours away from Madison then. So here is some of the other. Let's get to the rest of our some of our Lord of the Rings stuff here. So here's our Harad army that we've been working on. There's our Harad army. Some more of our Rohan army, and we also have a Dol Amroth army that we've been working on here. There might have been a little freehand, maybe just a smidge. There's our Army of the Dead. There's our Morgul Knights. And let's get down to our Easterlings here. So this is the first terrain board that we're going to be filming on. I basically have to build one of every army in Middle-earth, and I have to build every terrain you could possibly imagine in Middle-earth. We also have, where is our Witch King? And we also, here's our Royal Guard before they got their paint on them. And here is our Moria army with the Balrog right there. And I think we're up to 15, 23. We're up to 24 little goblins now for our Balrog. Gee whiz trash. I didn't add Cloaky thing to this. Oh my goodness. How did I not add Cloaky thing to the scientific list? We need Cloaky things. We need more Cloaky things on our list. Yeah, Jimmy, we've actually got ourselves now a sizable Minas Tirith army underway too. We've got a Candish army underway, chariots, riders. Where's my Candish? Oh yeah. So these are some more of the not Frostgrave. What are they? The Fireforged. These Mongolian riders. These are perfect riders of Cand right here. They're so much better than the GW figures, and they're plastic, and they're like less than half the price. And we showed these before. So these are going to be our Umbar Corsairs. And we're also building ships. We're going to build Umbar ships. We're going to build some Corsair ships, some Dol Amroth ships, and we're going to have Lord of the Rings at sea. We will have Lord of the Rings battles at sea on the YouTube channel first. Hopefully, if things go well, I might be able to live stream those games of Lord of the Rings. That's my goal. I would really love to be able to do that. That's going to require some technology though, and I just might have to be purchasing some more cameras to do that. I'll catch you later, Bill. Glad that you're having some progress with the oils. You'll have to send me some pictures of what you're doing there. Yeah, send me some pictures of what you're doing, and I'm always curious to see what people are doing with the oils. So Tectonic Crafts, what are you able to stream when you're doing your live stuff? Obviously, a camera on the printer or on the burner might not be what you're doing, but I'm curious, are you just painting up some of the MDF terrain on your streams? So folks, be sure, like I said, check out Tectonic Craft Studios. Check out their website. Speaking of terrain, there's all kinds of amazing terrain to be had there. I have painted some of it, and I think that you'll enjoy painting a lot of it. Yeah, I guess Tectonic, that could be another scene, right, that just kind of pops up once in a while, I guess. You know, kind of a tracker on the on ye olde laser. There, okay, I think that's starting to build that in. Maybe. Let's see if we can do our other little things over here too. First, however, I think we're going to darken that down a smidge. Let's darken that down just a smidge here. Let's see the Sony laser cam. Everything. Wait a minute. Every time I watch, I get tempted to get no. Jimmy, they are so darn easy. I mean, that that Moria army that you see. So the Balrog was painted in one session. I don't know what, 6 hours. The little gobos that you saw were painted in 10.5 hours. 15 of them. We painted 8 of these guys in 10 hours in oils. It just makes everything easier. It really does. Not kidding. It makes it easier. Jibby, just think of how easy it would be. Look at this. Remember, we just said, we didn't like that part of it. We just wiped it away and we started from scratch. Remember over here that the freehand was just started in the wrong spot? We said, well, no big deal. We wiped it away and we started it up again. See, there's big acrylic. Oh, you know what we need? We need to have a miniature. We need to have a big acrylic miniature. Let's see, right now Tectonic Craft is doing kit builds and adding some scenics, and you'll be painting pieces and add a CAD cam to watch my wizardry in action. Let's see. Yeah, the oils just make everything so much easier. Whether it's metallics, whether it's freehand, whether it's object source lighting, you name it, it's fantastic. Take some of that paint off of there, and hopefully we can do something. Okay, and it's just it's the same pattern down here, like this and like this. Let's see, the CAD cam would be an idea that started from a dare and a bottle of mead. Well, mead is pretty much an essential. I would think it's an essential drink for any stream. I mean, no stream would be complete without maybe a little splash or two of mead. Yeah, see, look at big acrylic. Look at what big acrylic is doing. Big acrylic will stop at nothing. Big acrylic will stop at nothing to ruin the fun of us oil painters. See, Steel is going to be doing some super speedy painting for today's game in acrylics, and I already missed the oils. Isn't that crazy, Steel, right? Isn't that crazy? Because anytime I use, well, when I go to film those videos with the powders using the acrylics, it's just going to be, well, the thing is, those powders are going to dry out the acrylics even faster. At least the oils, when you mix the powders in there, they can sort of hold their own with all the dryness of the powders, but the acrylics ain't going to be able to do that. Jimmy, if the paint is wet, it will definitely come off. So if you're painting bigger things, if you've ever seen me painting bigger things, you'll know that I just kind of leave parts of it for last, basically. I'll literally leave parts of it that I don't even try to paint so that I can actually just put my finger there. Now the other thing too is that with oils, well, when I'm filming my army painting series, like when I was filming the Ossiarchs, or when I was filming these, or now I'm filming the Thousand Suns, well, it takes 8 to 9 days to film a 5-day series, maybe 10 days to film a 5-day series. It's going to dry. The paint dries anyway. As it turns out, glazing oils over dry oils is fantastic. It's really fantastic stuff. So all of these, this wasn't done wet into wet. Let's see, where's our Thousand Suns right here? Even on our Thousand Sun series, this is going to dry in between sessions. But the nice thing is when you glaze with oils, there's no watermarks because, well, there's no water. And see, big acrylic, they won't admit that. Big acrylic is not going to admit that you don't get those watermarks. Yeah, see, big acrylic just wants you to buy more and more Nuln Oil. That's all big acrylic wants you to do. You could be dying of thirst or whatever, and all big acrylic is going to do is just give you Nuln Oil. You could need water, and big acrylic, all they're going to do is hand you Nuln Oil, nothing else. So Stila, just I know every time that I work with the acrylics now, I just think, well, that would have been so much easier with the oils. Well, that paint wouldn't have dried on my brush. And actually, after I'm done with the acrylics, the brushes are not the same anymore. Literally, the acrylics are messing up the brushes. As I'm using the acrylics, I can see it just destroying the brush. And it's crazy because I keep thinking, man, I just want to get these acrylics away from my brushes because I want my brushes to be intact. I don't want my brushes to be destroyed. Ah, Kaylee feels cold out because she's using Nuln Oil as we speak. Boy, I'm trying to think. It's funny because, well, we used the Nuln Oil, right, back in the day, but it always ran out so fast. I always ended up mixing the blue and then that was it the what was the brown one? Some folks call it liquid talent or something like that.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, Stroke. That sounds like a little bit of Gandalf saying, "Spark my ganja." He's like, D he's like, "Don't take the ring." He's like, "What? It's such a little thing. I care not for it." He's like, "Sure you don't." He's going to take it. No, I'm not. Nope, not taking the ring. Not taking the ring. Agrax Earthshade. That's right. That's it. So we would mix that and the blue together until that ran out, and ultimately we I think I ended up taking the Druichi Violet and whatever the green was, and that ended up being just like gray. So yeah, we went through all of those to try and just kind of substitute things for the Nuln Oil. That was hilarious. Let's get a little bit of our cadmium green into there and Prussian blue. Make ourselves a little bit of a green. Well, you could spark your gumdrop, which which has its own possible TOS connotations right there, I suppose. What was the Stila? I know you were thinking about finding a way to be able to paint more of the Artisan Guild stuff without the Twitch helicopters landing on top of your roof there, saying, "How dare you paint that on Twitch?" Ah, Ben, welcome back. Nice to see you. I hope that your week is off to a good start, and thank you very much. Actually, I'm going to take some of this maybe. I think I'm going to throw some of that down here as well. I think we're going to throw some of that down here too. Well, and then guess what? We have to do the whole same thing over here on this side. So we'll have to take this and we'll have to throw that onto the other side as well, which that should be interesting. That should be very fun. Let's take some of our indigo. Yeah, you'll have to let me know how you're able to maybe circumvent those Twitch's twitchiness about anything that's not a cat riding on a vacuum cleaner. That's kind of the standard joke amongst us folks who follow the historical guys on YouTube, since they all kind of get demonetized and their channels taken down all the time. So we'll get our white outlines around these. We'll throw our little black shapes over the top there. See, the week is good. Nearly done with the latest piece. Looking forward to working on your army for a bit. Well, that sounds great, Ben. Yeah, if you got any Insta pics or something like that, you're working on it. If you wanted to throw any links or something like that in the chat so people can see your army, you go ahead and do that. Here, let's get the rest of whatever crazy little things are going on with this here. I really have no idea what these designs are meant to be. Just like some of the Rohan designs with all the sun theme and everything. Not quite sure where that's coming from. I think we're caught up now. So it says 75% delivered. I guess that's them saying how many places they've shown it or something, I guess. Or I guess how close to what is that, the front page it is? Which kind of hard to check that when you're in the middle of a stream, to say the least. So I definitely, these fire forged horses and stuff, I mean, those are really handy, but now, haha, we have an unlimited supply of generic horses. So you thought this was the cavalry channel before? You ain't seen nothing yet. There's more of us waiting for you. Get ready. Which is nice because, well, we've been pirating horses from Rohan stuff, and these are Fireforged horses
Hello,
too.
little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, Miyabi. And Gandalf says, "Whoa, fly, you fools!" That's fast Gandalf getting out of the way of this chariot. Oh, speaking of which, I gotta find STL files for chariots now, because I could print my own horses and maybe print the stupid chariots instead of Tomb King chariots and like other horses. So for that reason, we have a whole bunch of riders of Rohan that have no horses. Well, now they do. So the Rohan army just get a whole lot bigger. I think I just got about a dozen riders back. Ah, Miyabi, how you doing? So the raids are broken right now. Well, why does that not surprise me? So say hi to Dr. Rhino for me. And well, hopefully they get fixed by the time we need to raid somebody later tonight. Unless we just never stop streaming. Unless we just keep streaming all the way through to ReaperCon and never stop. Yeah, Ben, if you got an Insta or something like that, throw that up in the chat. That way people can look at it and such.
Who enters my domain?
Well, it looks like Dr. Rhino was able to get the raid thing fixed. Twitchy as Twitch can be. So welcome
Hello,
in,
little
Raiders.
hobbits. Spark my ganja.
Well, thank you so much for that follow. Sam of Sam's. Gandalf appreciates it. He says, "You're going to take the ring." No, no, I'm not. Stupid old man. What? Oh, nothing, nothing. See you later, Gandalf. He's taken that ring. Thank you so much for that follow. That is appreciated. So Thistle, it's still
Hello,
broken.
little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
Oh, Mr. Elter's gonna get fast Gandalf. Fast Gandalf. He is so fast. There's Dr. Rhino. So folks, be sure. Well, you got actually two people to follow. You got Dr. Rhino and you also have to give Thistle a follow. Be sure to do that. Give them both the follows. So Dr. Rhino, what kind of stuff were you working on the stream there? And well, it's too early to have Instagram pictures, but if you got something like that, feel free to show that. No, so Trash wants to see Schmandoff, the much tougher, much more bad older brother of Gandalf. That's Schmandoff. Let's see. So, Dr. Rhino finished the Necron army. Well, that's good. And Dr. Reynolds, be sure to throw that up on the chat here so people can see whatever you got going on work in progress wise. Now, we're going to do some film noir. Pay some close attention to these two areas. This one right here, the horse's head and the barding here on the horse. Watch what's going to happen. Look at this. Now, there's been a little bit more shading here since then, but you don't see that color differential, right? Here, let's show you these two things. Let's show you these two things here. Okay, one looks a little darker than the other, but pretty much still kind of the same, right? Same for the most part. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Look at this. Same thing, but in film noir, they looked exactly. Now they don't look so similar, do they? That's what you call your color contrast, your intensity contrast, your temperature contrast, right? Warm versus cool, all that kind of stuff. That's right there. Get out the way. Fly, you. Oh, and this is our favorite thing. This is our. Now that we're sculpting our eagles here. Now that we're sculpting our eagles, along comes Gua here. He's just hanging out, flying around, doing his thing, and it's like, no, don't say it. It's like, say what? Don't say it. Fly, you fool. I hate that man. I hate him. I hate him so much. Yes, you do. So there's your Gandalf the White, and it's always the Gandalf comedy hour here. It's always the Gandalf comedy hour. All right, Dr. Rhino, you have a good night's sleep. I understand that because, well, we have barely slept here in a couple of weeks, so I appreciate that need for sleep. You go get that done. Oh, thanks, Mr. Elter. Thank you so much. So, if you want to check out the last few especially the last couple of Saturdays where we've done some mass amount of painting, you can check out our what was that, a dozen of our Minas Tirith warriors in true metallic metal with the oils. You can also go back and catch a couple of sessions here with our Moria army. So you can watch the Balrog being painted and all of his little playmates. Look at all his little playmates. And of course, you can watch the Mandalorians. That was a couple of weeks ago. That was Metals Week. So we painted all those up on the stream. All of those done in oils, in true metallic metals. And the week before that was the Cainite Shadow Stalkers. And the week before that was the Scions of Flame. All of these are highlights. You can go back and watch them all. Where's our, oh, there's our Witch King. There's our lovely little Witch King right there. Let's see. So why Puppet Show isn't a point redeem? Well, Trash, there's some puppet shows are just spontaneous. The puppet shows just kind of happen when they happen. You never know when there's going to be a puppet show. They can't be let's just put it this way, they don't perform on demand. They only perform when they feel like it, which I mean that's actors, right? Isn't that the way actors always are? They perform when they feel like it. The point redeems, those are left. You have to leave stuff like that for the mimes of Moria. That's what the point redeems are for. You can't just demand a puppet show. They'll never perform like that. I think we're gonna give Boromir just a couple little bits of lighter here, and then maybe even throw some darker in a couple places. Let's see. So is Deuce going to end up face down at the hobby desk? Are we taking bets on that? Are we taking bets on a face down Deuce, face down in a pile of mica powders maybe? Is Deuce going to be face down in some mica powders trying out interference paints on his eyeballs. See how that goes. I'm sure nothing bad could possibly happen from that. What the, at least, hey, the thing I like most about the horsies from Fireforge is they don't all have their stupid tongues sticking out. Like every single Lord of the Rings horse, they're for whatever reason, doesn't matter if they're in the desert or not, they all got their tongues sticking out. It's the weirdest darn thing. Ah, like the Witcher says it best. A puppet show arrives precisely when it means to. It is never early, nor is it late, but precisely. Get out of here, old man. Still taking the ring. Why did I go after the Hobbit instead of him? I should have gone after him. See what I mean? Puppet shows, they just happen. You never know. When you least expect it, that's when it happens. What we also expect to happen is to maybe get some lighter colors on his face here. So we're gonna do that. We haven't messed around with his face in a little while, so let's just throw some lighter colors here. We got to give him some eyes, right? Got to give poor Boromir some eyes so he can look at that little ring. Yeah, yeah, Deuce. They might think if you got like the purple or the pink under your nose or something like that, they might think it's some kind of new a new exotic luxury drug or something like that. I guess. Yeah, you don't want to get you don't want to get caught with that stuff. I don't think so. All right, let's see if we can give him some eyeballs this here. Give him some eyeballs. I'm trying to remember if this was one of the. Whoa, where did this thing come from? I think this was one of the Gangs of Rome heads. It must have been one of the Gangs of Rome heads or something. Just get some more lights on his forehead. Then we're just going to mix some of this stuff here. Let's do a little bit of mixing. Let's see if we can give him some eyebrows. Yeah, start to wall off these eyes right here. Same on this side. Oh, you know what? I have to. I've got to do a bunch of Faramir. I have to do some Faramir conversions too. Now, let's see. We got some more. Oh, so we have regular dwarf infantry here. I think this is going to be for some of the dwarves in the northwest, right? And then I was thinking, where do these guys go? These guys could be Arnor right here. We'll dress them up a little bit. We'll put some kind of plumage or something on their helmets, and we'll make maybe these guys could be Arnor, because of course we have to have something to fight against Angmar, right? Let's see. Use a beige oil or mixed brown, white, yellow. Let's see. Ryan, do you mean for the skin tone? The skin tone, actually, the color that you see an awful lot in skin tone is Terra Rosa, which is so fabulous because, well, it makes a great skin tone. However, it's also a fantastic rust color. Yep, yep. So actually, you can go back and watch the YouTube of this thing being painted. That was Terra Rosa on there. Makes a fantastic rust color. But it's just amazing for skin tone. It also has now, of course, it's only from Gamlin, but if you get the Asphaltum, it has the same pigment red 101 in it. And actually, we're going to be using a lot of that for the skin tone. Speaking of our crewmen, our Corsairs of Umbar, we're going to really be using that to make our ruddy flesh tone. So Ryan, we use the same thing on our AON right here. So go back and watch the highlight of this just a couple of weeks ago, and Terra Rosa for the most part. Now, of course, here we were able to get into, I think that was our Fanchon Red to try and get a little bit of rosiness on the cheek there. We did, you can see we got some grays in there too, but Terra Rosa was kind of the cornerstone of this. Terra Rosa and, where's our Brilliant Yellow Pale? Terra Rosa and Brilliant Yellow Pale, just a fantastic combination. It goes all the way back to the days of 2D painting for me, literally years and years ago using Terra Rosa on skin like that. So, yeah, he's like, hey, I hear you're dating my brother. She's like, would you just be shutting up about that? He's like, yeah, you're dating my brother, aren't you? uh, well, that would be the nice thing for you if Terra Rosa was sort of the cornerstone for your flesh tones, because now you're just okay. You want a little green, right? 5 o'clock shadow. You could maybe mix a little indigo with your Terra Rosa. So that might help you with that consistency that you're talking about. And the nice thing is that Terra Rosa is not an expensive color. I mean, it's one of the cheaper ones for what it does. Here's looking at you, Cobalt Violet. It should be $1 million a tube, and not like $6 a tube. So definitely think about the Terra Rosa. It's fantastic, and like I said, you can use it for rust effects, so many other things besides just skin tone. I use it on horses all the time. We used it on this horse, which, by the way, I am actually brushing in a little bit of green here onto our horsey. Yeah, we're doing that. We're going to get a little bit more here into some of these shadow areas. I think, let's see, yep. So, so Thistle, what kind of stuff have you been doing this week? I'm trying to think. Well, it's been kind of a crazy week. So, well, last week was very busy with all the printing and stuff. So I don't know if I got too many notices when you were live. I'm gonna try and get a couple of lights into here too. Then we'll have to get the eyes going. Let's see, first, we'll just take our indigo here. Cut that eye down even just a little bit more. Same thing with this one. Just a smidge more. And then this is where we sort of separate our eyebrow and eyelid with this, hopefully, one little lighter brushstroke could go right there. And we'll do that on the other side here. This will be trickier because, well, there's sort of a big stick in the way. Looks like we were able to do that there, plus get a little bit of that here. Now his armor needs to get separated. Speaking of separation, separate that from the face there. Still got to figure out, do we want to go, I think I'm just going to have to go a bit more on the green side here with these reins to make these be more separate. So literally just going to put some green on here, maybe even some bluish green, I don't know. But we need some serious separation here. So let's just take some of our cadmium green, light, a little bit of the cobalt blue. Same on this side. Because if everything is just an endless series of browns, it's all just going to mix together visually. Now, so folks, you can go check out what Ben's been working on right there. Go check out his Insta there. Get all right. There's I don't think we've had to paint this particular horse just yet. I think there's 3 different horses in the Fireforge set. I mean, that's kind of typical. I think even the GW ones, there's basically 3 different types of horses. Let's get that filled in pretty much with the eyes. Let's see. Do What Now has a Cad Red medium and a Cad Red light. They both use the Do What Now. It's just like these two. Okay. Where's our burnt sienna here? Is there a burnt sienna? There's a burnt sienna. All right. So both of these are Pigment Red 101. There's nothing else in them. They're just Pigment Red 101. This is cooked. This is not. They are two, even though they're Pigment Red 101, you could not get 2 more different colors. I mean, they're literally as different as you could possibly imagine. I'm going to see if I can dig these out for you. Let me just see here if I can find them for you, because you will be shocked at the difference, and I think we might have got them. Yep, we found them. Found them here. So there's your Terra Rosa. Look at that. Not shiny, super opaque. Look at that. Also Pigment Red 101. Orange, shiny, very transparent. Pigment Red 101. One is cooked, one is raw and wriggling. We like it raw and wriggling. We don't like it cooked. You don't want to boil them, mash them, and put them in a stew. You want them raw and wriggling like that. Which is why it can be really handy, especially with the oils, to do stuff like that. Do a little exercise like that. There's a lot of value in doing that. So I hope that you're doing well too, Beaver. I'm kind of glad to get to painting one of my conversions here. I think the last conversion I got to paint was was it either Gambling or the War Priest? It's either Gambling or one of the two. But it's been a while since I got a chance to actually paint something that I sculpted. Well, we painted the Eowyn bust. So there's that. Is that Kathy saying good night there? Good night. And there's Sambo. Because I think it's, oh, that's right. Here I'm thinking it's Saturday again. How many times have I thought it was Saturday? Now what we're going to do is, remember we talked about cleaning up a freehand afterwards? That's what we're going to do now. We're just going to go in here, do some cleanup here. Yeah, like this one. Okay. That line's a little bit thicker. Well, it's not too thick anymore. If a line is out of place, we will just kind of kick it right back into place here, like so. Like these guys. Rex, it's actually indigo, mostly indigo. There's a little bit of ivory black thrown in there just to keep it somewhat more on the neutral side, but actually no Prussian blue in there, which I know is shocking. I know that's shocking, but it's actually mostly indigo. Mostly indigo. Indigo, there's a little bit of the brilliant yellow pale in there also. A smidge of the brilliant yellow pale. So I just threw that stuff in, and I'm just going to grab our blending brush here. This is less about mixing colors. This is where we start to think about brushstroke management, right? It's, what are we at? 3.5 hours in-ish, sort of. This is where we start to think about brushstroke management. We're actually going in here just looking to tone down some brush strokes. All right, Avocado Kids, thanks for hanging out. Are you streaming tonight, right? Or are you just so blasted from the working and the streaming and stuff that you're just gonna try and get some sleep here? So, folks, be sure to give Avocado Kids a follow because if he is streaming later, that way you'll be able to get the notifications for when he is live.